right, guys. My name is Carson. I've been working with Mo a bit. I'm gonna show you around batch leads on how we do this. I'm just gonna pick a random city. We'll just do Orlando. Um, so you see, it just gives a basic outline here. I usually just remove that boundary. I like to use the draw tool so I can pick so I can just kind of draw around the whole city itself and get the outskirts of it as well. I think it's this one. So this kind of lets you customize what area you want to select. So we'll do that for now. Maybe I should do a small area, but it'll still be the same thing. But then you can come up here and you could put filters on for what you want your list to pull. So for property characteristics, you're going to want to do residential, and then you go to the property type and you want to do single family. You could do condos and townhouses, but we'll just keep it to single family for now. No, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Then you want to go to the MLS status and you want it to be on market, yes. And then you want it to be an active listing. You don't necessarily want it to be showing you a bunch of properties over $1 million per se, because most of them are harder to make cash flow. It's more of a niche type of list that you would pull.
Okay, hold on, Carson. So, can you explain real quick, like, what is your strategy before you pull this? Because I noticed now, just going through it, you're only pulling on market, right?
Yeah,
So,
because
like, what's your goal when you pull these lists before you break down all the properties and stuff?
we're going after on-market listings with agents for agent outreach in terms of sending out LOIs.
Okay.
So I'll just do 750,000 for the max price, so that way we're not getting any listings over that. Um, Typically I don't, but you have the option to mess with the days on market. So if you wanted to just pull listings that have been on the market a while, you could put this to like 90 days or 70 days, whatever you wanted to here. And then I don't think I need that. So we're not doing just low equity, so I don't need to do anything in here. We're pulling all types of listings. Don't need to do anything for this either. I think that's on it.
Now, question, because I know in PropStream we have the ability of pulling for, um, I guess, lien positions for mortgages up to four. Now, does Batchleads allow you to do that, or is it just
Yeah, actually we should select this, I would, because you don't want it to pull like lines of credit or reverse mortgages or any of that stuff. So you would want to select conventional VA or FHA.
okay? But again, does it allow you to choose up to four mortgages or anything, or is it Batch just give you one?
Yeah, right here it would be the number of open mortgages. It doesn't really tell you anything else. So you could just do up to like max four or
Okay.
what. Do you want me to put a filter on that?
No, that's fine. Other people can do
Okay.
that if they want to. I was just wondering. I'm familiar with PropStream more, so
Okay. I'm not sure. I forget. If I'm selecting the mortgage info, it might just be pulling stuff with mortgages now. So maybe you don't select that at all. No, I think we're good. But you can also mess with the mortgage interest rate here. So you probably don't want anything over like 5%. We'll just go with. You could mess with that as well as far as um Okay, so we got 645 properties total in this area.
Okay.
So I'll hit that, and then it shows zero selected here. So you want to hit this, go to this drop down here, and then you want to select them all, and then you will be able to save all of these to a list. So then we'll hit save up here. You'll go to save properties, and then we'll just call this Orlando test. And you could tag this as like direct agent um, on market is what I typically do. You should be able to turn this off as well, the exclude that properties with the USPS address. So then once you have that, you can just hit save. You do not need to save the agents. That would save the agents to their own separate list. When you pull, you'll see once we export it, it'll still have all the agent data in there regardless.
Now question, you don't have to skip trace anything at all in here, right? Because it's on market.
Yep, that's correct. So you'll,
If we went direct to seller, we would have to skip trace them first.
yep, correct.
Okay, cool.
So then you'll be able to go to your list and then it'll show up here. Or if you can't, like I have a bunch of others pulled, so you can actually type in here whatever you want to find your list, but this one's at the top. So I'm just going to select that. So that way only those properties show here. And then instead of selecting them one by one, you have this option to click this right here. So that way you can select all 645 of them. Um, like Mo just said, these are on market, so we do not need to skip trace them, but you could skip trace it right through this button if it was off market properties. So now we want to export this into a CSV so that way we have a list that we can upload into BILT eventually. So you'll hit this here. Um, yeah, then you hit export to Excel. And now you're going to have a bunch of different categories that it's going to want to pull. When you first do it, everything's going to be selected. So anything that I don't have, I think there's a few things that I have extra that are selected that aren't needed, but I pull them regardless. Um, I don't have the SOP pulled up, but you definitely need, so you're going to need the owner's name. Actually, you don't need the owner's name, but you're going to need the mailing address, the mailing city, mailing state, and zip. I believe I believe the property address just pulls all. You could do these four, or you could do these four because it's going to pull the same thing. If you want the county, you can do that. Um, it doesn't actually. You don't need the APN if you don't want it. You could have this if you want some of the property data that you want to put into like your notes or something. You need the total balance, you need the estimated equity, you need the estimated value, and you need the MLS status. You also want it to pull the mortgage data. So that way, because the mortgage data will pull how many mortgages are on it, what the balance is, and what the interest rate is. Um, you'd also want to pull the ARV. But then so you'll definitely need the MLS listing amount, the agent's name, their phone number, and their email, because that's how you're gonna send the LOIs. You don't need the brokerage name or the brokerage phone number.
I already have batch right there. Those are the very specific ones we do need to the right.
Yeah, you'll need all of these, which Mo will have this prepared. Like I said, I just pull a few extra columns that I sometimes I put in. Yeah, so you don't actually need the estimated value one. You would use the ARV. Uh, so in here, you don't actually need this one. You would use the ARV. But that would be everything that you need. So as you can see, I deselect, why is it being dumb? I deselected everything else because you don't need any of that. And then you'll be able to hit next and you'll just name the file. All right, so now that you exported it, you have to go to reports over here on the left, and then you go to save slash export, and you will have a list right down here that you're able to download. So it shows the 645 that we put in there. You would hit the download button, and then it just went up into my downloads.
So question, and I'm sure John's going to show us how he does it on PropStream, but in PropStream, we have the ability of setting a template for filters and a template for exports, meaning you just do it once, you never really have to touch it again, and you never have to check some boxes and all that stuff. You just pick your city, pull the list, export it right away, and it's the exact same format that's in the CRM every single time.
Yeah, you can do that. If you go back to the property search, shoot, I'm gonna have to do it again. But
It's okay. You don't have to export it this time, but like just go through the
yeah,
filter.
I'm just gonna go through this quick, but it's residential, single family, you want on market, you want active, you can set a listing price, that, those three, set a interest rate max. Well, now that's just pulling there because I didn't select the
That's fine.
boundary.
That's fine. That's
But
fine.
yeah, it's going to be the same thing. I just didn't select a bigger boundary.
So
So
can you save this filter? So it's like,
yeah, I'll show you.
so if I change the address later,
Yeah. So yeah, you do that, and then you can name this. Well, you see, I already had a low equity one because I wasn't using BILT 2.0 before this, but now we can pull any type of listing. So I'll just call this any type listing filter.
maybe name it 2.0 so you know this one's for 2.0 every time.
Yeah, that is true. I think if you put this on, then it's going to show up. There's a drop down. I'll show you. So now you can go to save searches here in the drop down, and you could click that anytime, and it's going to always have those six filters on.